When you don't know, you're good.
Yeah.
But once you know, it's a completely different role. So typically people will say, I want to know who has my head, and I ask them why. Well, I was just curious. You don't need to know.
They want to be able to put it on Facebook. Because what are you going to do with that information? If you're not going to initiate, if you're not going to serve, if you're not going to start making offerings and sacrifices,
right.
if you're not going to alter your life and get on your path and actually allow this energy that governs your head to truly govern your head and put you on your path and bless your life, then what do you need to know for? You just want to wear a beautiful yellow dress like the one I'm wearing today.
And to that point, Fayende says there's an obsession with the concept and personification of Orisha without understanding Orunmila.
Absolutely.
But what is Orunmila? I don't know what that means.
So the Orunmila are the causes of creation. They are the energies that Eledumare, the Most High God, sent to Earth to create, to make it habitable for mankind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so Live with Leah show, I want to answer your question in a dismissive and in an exhaustive way. What? Hold on, y'all.
There was a question that I saw earlier that I said I wanted to answer. Okay, you guys have any questions? It's getting late.
Okay. So, Live with Leah, I'm a tarot reader. She says, okay, Live with Leah show. She says, I'm a tarot reader. However, I'm interested in practicing magic and becoming a healer/spiritual advisor. What I need to know in effort to truly walk in my purpose and go in the right direction. First things first, # book a reading.
Yeah, you need to book a reading.
But Live with Leah show, because I'm not really familiar with you. I've just seen your name a lot. I've just seen your name a lot. I'll say this to you. What you need to know is you're probably not a tarot reader.
Because tarot is for white people.
That's not what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. It's a European... It's...
No comments.
That doesn't mean that people of color can't do it and that we can't master it. I mean, we master everything that we put our mind to. But
I'm trying not to get riled up.
Okay.
Because I'm trying not to
I'm just saying, you're probably not a tarot reader. That's not our stuff.
I'm trying not to talk about white
You're
people.
actually being more accurate if you use playing cards, because playing cards actually come out of comedic science. Tarot cards are a bastardization of the playing cards because the people who were reading the cards at the time needed pictures to help them understand the science that was contained in the playing cards.
I think, in my opinion, you can read with anything.
You can read with anything.
But, and I don't know which, I can't say which is more or less effective. I think what's most effective is to make your own deck.
Like I did, yeah.
Right, but I think tarot is just as effective as playing cards. That being said, you're probably not a tarot reader because you don't have clientele. I'm just being dead ass. You're probably not a tarot reader because you don't have clientele. It's like saying I'm a beautician and I ain't got no. I mean,
I hate you.
I'm just being serious. If you're not, you can't be a teacher if you don't have students.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you have the ability to. You probably studied the tarot. You have the ability to read tarot. But when you're talking about trying to practice magic and becoming a spiritual healer, those are two very different professions.
They're very different.
One is a magician and the other one is Iyanla Vanzant. Tarot reading isn't gonna help bridge the gap between doing either of those things. And if it's not, you need to get you need to book a reading, an astrological reading, so that you can see if it is in your destiny to do those things. If you may be able to read tarot, that's fine, but is it in your destiny to make money through tarot? That's the question. Do you value tarot, and is it in your destiny to be known as a tarot reader? I then have to say this to you. When it comes to being a spiritual healer, that's the hardest shit to do. If you can't get a PhD in psychology, if you can't get a master's in social work, if you can't get a medical doctorate and become a psychiatrist, you don't need to try to be a spiritual healer, because a lot of spiritual healing is going to be you need to know you need to know your boundaries. You need to know when I need to take somebody to see a certified professional, and when can I just sit here and have like a homeboy homegirl conversation with some tarot incorporated into it, because you really don't want to overstep any boundaries that could get you legally in trouble. So being a spiritual healer, I say this to you. I don't know any spiritual healer that's really good that doesn't have a formal education at a university. Iyanla Vanzant has a Juris Doctorate from a top 25 law school. Check it. So get formally educated first about neuroscience, about different mental illnesses, become well versed in holistic healing, indigenous practices that help to find solutions to people's psychological problems. That is the reason that I can be a spiritual healer, is because my comprehensive exams were on social psychology, race and ethnicity. If I have a doctor's level education in this stuff, so I would not advise people to go down the path of spiritual healing, because it's damn near being a godfather or godmother to somebody, and you are responsible karmically for anything that they, whether they get it right or they get it wrong, you're gonna get what you deserve. So
what I would add to that is, if it's your heart's desire, like Negzo said, we need to see if your destiny lines up with that. And if you don't want to go to school and get a doctorate level education, the very least that you can do is initiate and spend the next 10 to 15 years studying. Studying.
And then after 10 to 15 years of having experience, because the type of people that you come across in
and
this,
you have to study under a Hugan, a Mambo, a Babalawo, a Inyanifa, immerse yourself in the tradition if you want to go at it from a spiritual standpoint. But either way, it's going to require studying and expertise.
Apprenticing.
Yeah.
The word is apprenticing. So I apprentice under people for 6 years, okay?
Yeah.
Under people for 6 years that
absolutely
are 80 years old, teaching about social psychology. I would say to you live with Leah's show, or anybody else that's watching this, I'm saying this from my sociological background. Spiritual healing, being a spiritual educator, that's the hardest shit to do. Be a magician. Be a tarot reader. But when it comes to being a tarot reader, do you have clients? Can you make money from it? It's not just about being accurate. Tarot reading is hard as fuck. If you're giving 4 readings a day, if you're giving 4 readings that day, you're poop for the day. That's it. I've had to build my stamina up to where I'm like, damn, I can read for 16 hours a day. Because when you first start reading, you have that one client that day. When you first start reading, you'll read for one person for like maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then all of a sudden you need to sleep for 4 hours. That being said, it's a long ass journey. It's much easier to become a magician. It's much easier to just have the title of tarot reader. But to be a spiritual healer, you have to have been on track to doing some type of healing profession in the first place. So if you're not, for example, a part of a women's shelter where you're talking to people, if you're not a tutor, if you're not already doing those things, it's probably not in your destiny to do that right now. But right now, that being said, you can make it a part of your destiny. It's going to be difficult, but we all have things in our astrology chart that we have to work through that just makes it a little bit more difficult for us to deal with. And that's my advice. Either hashtag book a reading so we can have a one-on-one conversation where I can give you advice that's specifically designed to speak to your birth makeup and your destiny, or just leave it alone. Because it's a long-ass journey.
And I hate to sound cliche, but I have to say, we didn't ask for this.
Bitch.
I just have to say it. We didn't ask for this. This ain't what you want.
It's okay. Let me tell you. Let's just do a little rendition of how we even got into this shit, just real quick.
I don't want to.
Yes, you do. Okay, I'll just tell you real quick. How did I end up here? I was 21 years old, and I was sitting in my racial attitudes in America class in my undergrad. And this white woman said to me, she asked me, "What are you going to do after you go to grad?" She said, "What are you going to do after you graduate?" I said, "I think I'm going to get a master's degree in social work and be a therapist." And she said, "No, you're not. You're going to be a professor." She said, "You're way too smart to just be a therapist." She was like, you may need to get a PhD in social work, but I see you being a teacher. You can't just be a therapist. I can't just see you just counsel." Oh shit, this is all fucked up. Alright, so as I was saying before the damn camera died, basically I ended up going into I ended up getting accepted into 3 or 4 different, no, it was at least 3 different doctoral programs. And and I got into 3 social work programs. There was masters, but you can't straight get a PhD in social work, right? You have to be a social worker for 2 years, then get a PhD. That being said, if you get a PhD in psychology, you're going to have clients to work with before you graduate. So I was in my doctorate program. I was studying social psychology. And at Santa Barbara, there was a counseling and psychology department that was across the street from the sociology building. And so I used to hang out with a lot of those people. We used to exchange articles with each other. I learned a lot. And then I started doing tarot readings. And I started seeing that the tarot readings were requiring for me to use some of the things to integrate into my readings, the things that I had started to learn from my graduate studies. That being said, I was already on the path to doing what it is that I do now. I can't say what it's like for other people that maybe were practitioners first and then got the degrees, but I 100% am gonna say I'll say this. Oh shit, my phone fell on your couch. Mm-hmm. There's a quote that I got for y'all where I was being messy with Osun Funke, and it was this lady that said something quite important that I agreed with. Give me 1 second. She says, it says here. Okay, she says this. Contrary to popular belief, being initiated to an orisha or being a diviner does not automatically, quote unquote, qualify a person to, quote unquote, have godchildren. Counsel or to counsel people or provide therapeutic healing to anyone. The Odu of a reading oftentimes contains symbolic narratives that require a special type of spiritual and professional insight, although the correct Eba, if advised, will support the situation. More often than not, a change in behavior or circumstance may also be evident as well, in which case professional training is definitely a necessary requirement. This person then says, I have received my MA in clinical psychology from, academic research and practical on-hands training is required before the degree is conferred. It is proved a wise investment beyond measure for myself and others. If you're trying to be a spiritual healer, Iyanla has a Master of Arts in Spiritual Counseling from Santa Monica College. I'm just naming off some places where you can get these degrees from. You can get your LPC if you want to. A bachelor's in social work is not going to get it. A bachelor's degree in psychology ain't shit.
Well,
it's not going to help you. A bachelor's degree, I can teach intro to psychology courses.
But what I'm not going to do is act like, because, okay, but I can't say that either because you're talking about 30, 40 years worth of study too. Exactly,
because the people that do it, they started at what age, 5. And then they studied under someone.
Right.
Nobody comes into doing this work without studying under somebody. You can't avoid it. Mm-hmm. You cannot. So Live with Leah show, study under somebody. Mm-hmm. Either book a reading or study under someone.
Mm-hmm. Well, you need a book a reading anyway, just to find out if it's a reasonable pursuit. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing that I just want to add this in for some reason. That's one of the things that I see, I would say the most, as far as issues or ailments with people, is not really knowing what they came here to do, not knowing what's best for them to do, doing what they want to do instead of what they need to do. And so the best thing that you can do for yourself is to have a reading, especially if you are a person who has spiritual interest. You know, if you want to be obedient to spirit and you want to walk with spirit and you want spirit to inform and improve your life, you need to speak to spirit. And if you're not able to do that on your own, then you need to go to someone who is. So I'm going to urge you all right now to go to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com and book a reading. That's really the starting point. You know, we love doing these shows. We love taking your questions. But if you have any questions specific to your own self, what should I do about this? How do I make this happen? How do I stop this from happening? What do I do next? You got to book a reading, period. We got to open the oracle and see what's going on with you. And that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ready to close out? Any last words?
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something else I want to say.
I'm sorry. I apologize to anybody if I sound elitist. You don't have to. You have to study under somebody. You have to have expert level knowledge to be a spiritual healer for other people, because you're going to be responsible karmically for what they do and don't do.
Well, Starlit Sky, is that who you were responding to, or that was Aaliyah? Somebody?
Live Aaliyah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Starlit Sky says she doesn't want to be a spiritual healer. She wants to get her spiritual life together. Exactly. That's really what we all need to do. Is get our spiritual life together, get our spiritual house in order. And when you begin to do that, then you'll find out what it is that you're meant to do. And it may be, you know, that you are meant to be one sort of a healer or another, you know. It may be that is on your path, or it may absolutely not be, but you need to know. The thing about it is, it's better to not know
than to know and not do.
I
hope that you're a healer.
Yeah. And the thing that you guys need to know about us as well is that we've been doing this for a long time. We have invested years and thousands with a Z of money. Thousands of dollars of money. We have traveled to third world countries. We have pooped in buckets. We have...
I ain't pooping no bucket. I shit it outside.
You shat outside?
I shit it outside and I scrub my ass across the grass like this.
Oh, I hate you so much.
Showered in a bucket.
Okay.
I ain't shit in that bucket.
You showered in a bucket? I have.
And wiped my ass with grass.
I have shat in buckets. I've showered in buckets as well. So there's a lot that's gone into us being able to sit here and speak with any kind of authority with you guys. You know, I love you all very much.
Not even with authority, just confidence.
Confidence. I think that's
really
a better
like,
word. That's actually a much better word. We speak with confidence. I love you all very much. I feel led and honored and obliged to help and serve, you know. And so if I can do anything for you, look me up, blackspectrumnetwork.com. Book a reading. You need to book at least an hour so that we have adequate time, because you are going to have questions. And then there's information that I'm just going to have to give to you regardless of whether you have the questions or not. The only other thing I want to explain about the type of readings that I do is because I am an Ifa priestess, all of my readings are going to come with solutions. They're going to come with work that's going to need to be done to fix whatever problems that we see and to keep the blessings coming.
I know what you're saying, but I remember the other day, like, you need to tell them what that means, though, because
I thought I did not just say.
Well, see, the thing is, okay, so I give solutions too. You know what I'm saying? That's what you said. You said it comes with solutions. It comes with work that needs to be done. It's not clear to them that they're going to be paying for it. You know.
Okay.
That's what I mean. You have to
But even with your solutions includes work. Behavior modifications, yes. I'm going to tell you to stop doing something or start doing something else. Yes, you'll get those type of solutions, but if you... okay, explain to me what you're saying.
People are not prepared for the extra cost that comes with the reading.
Okay, because okay.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference.
Yes, that's the difference. Yeah. Okay.
That's the difference between how we do it, yeah.
Yes. So when you do a reading in Ifa, it is typical that you will have to do some sort of ebo. Okay, ebo simply means sacrifice, and it doesn't necessarily mean animal sacrifice, but sometimes it can be that. Sometimes it can be that you need to perform a particular ritual. You may have to make a particular offering. You may have to do a bath. You may have to take medicine. There is something that you're going to have to do to reset the energy in a way that is most favorable to you. So if things are going good, we want them to go even better. And if things are not going so great, we want to make them go in our favor. And so that's just how it works. And
I want to give you an example.
Those recommendations are made in the reading. Now, of course, you have a choice whether or not you do it, but I do feel like you're doing yourself a disservice, bordering on wasting time, if you don't do the work. Because now I've told you, okay, you have this gaping hole in your back door, and all kinds of bloodthirsty mosquitoes are going to come through and give you the Zika virus. Let me make you a screen to cover that up. And you say no. What do you want me to do?
So, we're going to end close. Yeah. So to give an example, I got a reading through Osun. I was asking about this job in women's studies at a college in Tennessee, and Osun was like, you can get the job, and you'll get the job. You're going to work really hard. And then she said, to sweeten the deal, you need to make a honey jar to the deity Osun. Okay? Now, I didn't have to, that was my form of Eba, right? That's what was expected for me to do. You got 16 days to do it.
Absolutely.
The difference between her and I, my readings are behavior modifications. They are behavior modifications, and I may give you a framework solution to your problem, but for real, you have to book a totally different appointment with me.
To get the magic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Magic versus me. I'm a medium, so I'm not a psychic. I just call it psychic readings just because I'm a medium. I translate what the spirits have to say to you. And the magic is a completely different consultation because I'm working with Baron Samedi versus just working with the Baron family in a reading. So Baron Samedi, he ain't gonna give you. He tells the truth. He's not gonna sit there and give you. He's not going to sit there and converse back and forth with you, as the Baron would in a reading. You're gonna call me about this specific problem, and I'm gonna tell you, here's the solution. Here's the price. Call me when you're ready to pay it. That price will be fixed. It won't change. It will stay the same. It may go higher. It may go lower depending on if you do something better or worse. But typically people do the same shit, so the price stays the same. That being said, hashtag book a reading.
Book a reading.
All right. So we're going to close this show out?
Yep, I was just making sure. Again. Do the ending again because you're probably going to have to take that out.
Oh, damn. Okay. All right. All right, y'all. With that being said, I want to leave you all with these words of wisdom. Words of wisdom from the rapper Dreezy. Gave mercy to these hoes. What would Jesus do?
Bye.
So fuel my fire, take me higher. I'll be your liar too. 'Cause when